We're live in the greenhouse. So it's June 28th. It's almost the end of June. This is the last live video for the month of June, which means that July is coming up next. July and August are two hottest months of the year, but we still haven't hit 100 degrees yet here in Wichita Falls, and so that feels like a big blessing. And we got some rain yesterday, so summer, I mean, what we think of as summer, whoa, I lowered that down too much. Hold on. Here in North Texas, you know, we think of summer as being 105, 110 degrees, dry as a bone, windy, hot wind. You know, that's what we imagine as summer around here, and that hasn't happened yet. In fact, we got some rain yesterday, so I don't know how much rain you guys got. I forgot to go look at our rain gauge here. I would imagine, good morning. I think that we got around a half inch, so I'd be curious to hear how much you guys got around town. There was one really weird storm near the impact downtown. It was like a little downburst, and they actually got some wind damage and really hard rain over there. But I think most of the rest of the area just kind of got scattered thunderstorms and scattered rain, spotty rain. It kind of rained off and on. Good morning, Susie. Throughout the day yesterday, which kept it cooler. It got a little hot in the afternoon, but so that was pretty nice. And then yesterday evening was super nice. It was nice and cool out. This morning it's really nice. It's humid, but it's not hot yet. So, I mean, looking at the long range forecast, we're gonna make it well into July before we get 100 degrees. So that's pretty sweet. And I was looking, and there's still some rain chances for, it looked like maybe Monday and Tuesday. There's rain chances out there. So, you know, oftentimes when we get into 4th of July, it is so dry and so hot. Okay, so no rain in Bowie. But a lot of times for 4th of July, it's extremely hot and dry, and it gets to be dangerous for fire risk. So it's really nice to see that the grass is still green. There's still some humidity. There's still some rain out there, and it's not 100 degrees yet. All right, well, we are in the greenhouse. We're gonna walk around some and take a look at some plants. What else is happening before we get walking? 4th of July is coming up, so that's Friday. We will be closed on July 4th, but we're going to be open the rest of the days next week. So, much to the dismay of my staff, they were like, are we going to close on July 3rd and July 5th? And I'm like, no. I mean, we have to come in and water the plants anyway. So we might as well be open, right, on July 3rd and July 5th. So we'll be open those days, but closed on Friday, the 4th. What else is happening around town? I don't know. Let's go look at plants. So I gotta flip this camera around. I know it, Linda. I know it. It's how I was raised. I was the slave worker. Now I'm the slave driver. But we're pretty flexible around here. All right, so we have a lot of citronella plants around here. Oh, Josh. Yeah, I'll be watering on the 4th. Well, I don't know if I will. We will be watering on the 4th also. We always have a small crew that comes in even when we're closed to do the watering. And they'll be getting holiday pay for those that are working on the holiday. So they actually kind of like coming in and watering when we're closed. Look at this hibiscus before I get back to the citronella. Beautiful red blooming tropical hibiscus here. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of citronella in stock. So this is your scented geranium citronella plant, mosquito plant. And as people have pointed out, simply putting citronella plant in your yard is not going to keep all the bugs and mosquitoes at bay. But these plants do contain oils in their leaves and stems that repel insects, but you have to release those oils. So you can do that by rubbing the leaves. You can do that by breaking a leaf off and then rubbing it on your skin. So if you have these, I like to plant these in pots or containers near your patio or near your door. And then when you walk outside, you can rub these scented leaves and then rub them on your arms, legs, neck, whatever. And that's going to act as a natural insect repellent for you. Plus, it smells really good. So, don't think that these things are going to work miracles if you plant them all around your yard. Because I've had customers come in and they buy 20 or 30 of them thinking, I'll just plant them everywhere and then I won't have any mosquitoes anymore. And that's not true. But they can be a useful tool in your mosquito fighting arsenal. We've got quite a few herbs still in stock. Different kinds of... We got the Cuban oregano. We've got different types of sage and thyme. We've got the Mexican mint marigold, which is a great fall blooming perennial here. But we have it also in our herb section here because it could be used in cooking too. What is this? One last stevia plant? There's one stevia plant left if anybody wants that. Well, we still have quite a few plants on our sale where we've been clearing out lantana. We've been clearing out coleus at 50% off. And look at this beautiful dichondra. That's a great heat lover. Linda loves the Cuban oregano. So do I. It's a fun plant to grow. The hardy hibiscus are blooming like crazy all around town. Hopefully you don't... let me know if I cut out here, because hopefully I don't lose internet signal. I was walking over here because it sounded like I heard dripping water, which usually means something is leaking. Yes, there is something leaking. Dadgummit. Been leaking all night, I bet. Let me shut this off. That's not working. Let me shut this off. That did it. Okay. Back to the plants. There's always some water leak around here. All right, so this is really fun. We just brought these out. So this is Crocosmia fire starter. Hey, it's Sylvester. What are you doing? You found me. He was out front earlier chasing bunnies. Crocosmia, however you want to say it. But look at the blooms on these. So this is a great sun-loving perennial. Let me see what zones it goes to. Zones 6 to 9, loves full sun. pairs well with Coreopsis. I would say that's true. So that's your Crocosmia fire starter. This is a new one we grew this year. So we haven't grown this variety before, but those blooms are super nice. Just now coming into bloom. A lot of our summer loving perennials are coming into bloom now. Now, this is something cool. Okay, double cool. All right, I'm going to show you a plant, and then I'm going to show you something really cool. So this is a fall obedient plant, which is an awesome flowering, heat-loving plant. If I'm not mistaken, these are native also, but I need to double check that. But anyway, those will be blooming later in the summer into the fall. But I wanted to show you this on this one obedient plant. You see this? Something's been eating those leaves, right? Some gardeners would panic when they see this. They're like, oh no, something's eating my leaves. I get excited when I see this because when you see these perfect little C-shaped, look, this is one that started to get cut and then they didn't finish the job, but there are perfect little C-shapes cut out of these leaves. And what this is from, some of you may know this, but this is from a leaf cutter bee. So this is one of the native bee species. And what they do, they're a solitary bee. They don't live in hives with lots of other bees, but they actually will do these cutouts where they take pieces of leaves and then they find a hole in a hollow stick or maybe in a tool around your yard. But anywhere that there's like a tubular shaped hole, they will build their nests out of these pieces of leaves. And so it almost looks like a little cigar that they roll up using these segments, and then they lay larvae in there, and they'll give it some food sources. So I forget, they pack it in there with food inside of the little leaf burrito too. I forget which food source, but they give the larvae a food source, and then they will hatch out in there. They feed on the food source and eventually pupate and become adults. Now this doesn't actually hurt the plant, especially when it's something like this where you see all the stems are fine, but they decided to eat the leaves off of this one. This plant's going to be just fine. There's no reason for you to panic when you see something like this on your plants. They'll do this to roses and a lot of other plants, and they don't really do a lot of damage to the plant, and there's really nothing you can do. There's no need to spray insecticide on them when they do this, because they cut the leaf and then they're gone. So it's not going to be effective to spray an insecticide, and they're a native bee, so you shouldn't be trying to kill one of your native bee species anyways. So as one horticulturist told me a long time ago, there's nothing you can do about it, so you might as well brag about it if you see this on your plants. So if you see those little cutouts from the leaf cutter bees on your plants, just go ahead and brag about it. That means you've got a yard that is supporting wildlife. Hey, Felicia's in Brownsville. She made it. Here's another fall bloomer, late summer to fall bloomer. This is the firecracker bush. And those are just now starting to crack some color. This is great forage for hummingbirds in the summer and fall. So all of these are going to be blooming here soon. We've got a mockingbird over there. We've got Liatris, also known as gay feather. This is another great native. We've got the Nyphophia, red hot poker, but yellow hot poker in this case. Blooming, lots and lots of pretty blooms going on. Got hardy bananas. And Mexican petunias. What, Sylvie? What are you doing? Sylvester. Sniff, sniff. I was trying to make my way over to the hardy hibiscus. But first, we'll stop in at showing a lot of the heat-tolerant perennials. So we've got different types of Echinacea, Echinacea, Rudbeckia in stock. Great heat lovers with big blooms. Look at that. Here's your Rudbeckia, Black-Eyed Susans. Some dark colored Rudbeckia. This one's called Cherry Brandy. Look how dark those blooms are. I am running very low on the regular purple coneflower, but I've got a lot of the orange in stock. It looks like I just have one of the purple coneflower. And then I have some kind of salmon coneflower. That's really pretty. So this is interesting. Your coneflowers. I forget what the scientific terminology is for this, but I want to point out something for you. I believe they call it like a conglomerate flower, the coneflower, because this that I'm holding in my hand that you would describe as one bloom is actually comprised of tons and tons of little flowers. So that cone in the center, if my camera will focus, all of those little orange dots are individual flowers. And then they're surrounded by these petals. But when you see a pollinator, such as a butterfly, come in and start feeding on this, or a bee, they will be moving from flower to flower to flower and getting the nectar out of these cone flowers, because there's hundreds of flowers. And as the cone grows, so it starts off kind of flat like this, but as the cone grows, the outer flowers will open up first, and it will continue to push out new flowers from the center, making that cone shape as it gets older. Anyway, now you know a little bit more about... What are you doing up there? It's right where that mockingbird was. Sylvie. Sylvester. He's wild. Okay, Gabby's asking what would be good for my garden during the fall/winter season. Well, if you're wanting to do annuals in the fall, things like cabbage and kale, snapdragons, and pansies are great annuals for fall and winter. There are some shrubs, smaller shrubs that are evergreen that are going to look good in the winter. Some of them get, red berries on them. That can look really nice in the winter. There's a lot of options though when it comes to annuals. If you're wanting to, as your perennials kind of get tired in the fall, then you can pop some annuals in between to make it still look nice in the winter. Some beautiful hardy hibiscus blooming now. So these are your perennial hibiscus. I've been getting a lot of questions about tropical hibiscus versus hardy hibiscus or perennial hibiscus and Rose of Sharon. They're all related. Who's out there? Oh, Molly's out there. They're all related, but they all behave differently. So the hardy hibiscus, which is what we're looking at here, it's a perennial and it actually dies back to the ground. I'm trying to get over to this bloom. Look at this. That's huge. So the hardy hibiscus completely dies back to the root every winter and then regrows the following spring. Some of them have really dark leaves like this one. Which variety is this? It doesn't say. Some have the lighter green leaves. We have some that have variegated leaves. Look at these pretty cannas blooming. And the cannas are still 50% off, by the way. There's a variegated leaf hardy hibiscus. So those are your hardy hibiscus. They're a great, man, that one's so highly variegated. It's like white. And then this is your Texas Star hardy hibiscus. All hardy hibiscus have 5 flower petals, though some give you the illusion that they have more. The Rose of Sharon is also related. It's in the hibiscus mallow family, but Rose of Sharon is a deciduous shrub, so it doesn't die back to the root. It keeps the same stems from year to year, the same trunk, just loses its leaves. And then your tropical hibiscus is the one that cannot survive outdoors in the winter. Got some Russian sage blooming that they just brought out from the back. That's another great tall perennial with purple flowers. Veronica is blooming. That's another one that the pollinators love. So yeah, lots going on over in perennials. We got the perennial. What are you doing? Poppy. We got the perennial Texas native lantana horrida. Lots of really good looking stuff over here. Okay, now we're heading back into the annuals. Hanging baskets are still 50% off. So you can get these beautiful Oh, Emily, I didn't see which varieties of Russian sage they are. But basically with the different varieties, what you'll see are differences in height, slight differences in color, and then most of the newer cultivars of Russian sage are sterile. So some of the older Russian sage people complained about because they throw seeds everywhere and sprout up where you don't necessarily want them because you didn't plant them. But the newer varieties are going to typically be a little bit more compact, maybe larger flowers or more intense color on the flowers, and they're going to be sterile cultivars. So you'll just have to kind of look at each variety and see which one you want. Persian Shield, still half off. Lantana, still half off. Lots of Lantana. Dracaena Spikes, half off. Caladiums, half off. And I have something I'll show you, my live viewers, here in a minute. You get a special preview on something that the public hasn't seen yet. These are your Pennisetum purple fountain grass. Now this one's not the purple. This is the fireworks. No, cherry sparkler fountain grass. So the leaves are a lighter color on the cherry sparkler as opposed to the purple fountain grass, which is this one, which has the darker leaves. Okay, Deanna is saying you bought a plum tree, but it's not producing plums. Give it a year. Usually, I mean, I don't know how long ago you bought it, but if it didn't produce plums this year, then most likely you're going to start getting them next year, as long as the weather cooperates. So if we end up getting a late freeze that knocks the blooms off of them or the young plums off of them, that'll kill your production for that year. Or a bad hailstorm can do that. But typically if you bought, say, a 5-gallon plum tree, in the second and third years when they really start producing a lot, and then they'll get better with time. So you're not going to get anything else off of it this year. It's your priority for this year just to keep it healthy and vigorous. So if you want to give it some fertilizer, some root stimulator, make sure it stays watered through the summer, and then that plum tree should start making fruit next year, as long as it's healthy and vigorous this summer. Oh, I remember what I was going to tell you guys. The Parade of Homes is, the last 2 days are today and tomorrow for the Parade of Homes. And we still have free tickets for you to get in, because it does cost $10 otherwise if you just show up to the Parade of Homes. So the begonias are half off still. But if you come in and purchase anything today, you will get some free tickets to the Parade of Homes. So just make sure that if you're wanting some, come in and make any purchase. I mean, you could buy one half off begonia, so that's $1, and then get you some free tickets to the Parade of Homes, because it's still going on today and tomorrow from, I believe, 1 to 4 for those days. So the comments keep disappearing for me. But I did see someone that says, what are the best fruit trees for around here? And the best fruit trees are going to be, it's kind of funny for this area, it's things that start with P. So peaches are my favorite, plums, pears do really well here, pecans, persimmons. What else starts with a P? There's a lot of them that start with a P that do really well here. Other than the pea fruits, that sounds weird, then things like apricots can do well here. You can do figs, but you know that they're going to die back to the root in the winter, and then resprout the next year. And then apples, you can do apples pretty well here, but pears and peaches especially really thrive here. All right, check this out. For you loyal live listeners, Greg has been working hard and pairing with local artists on this collaborative mural wall. Pomegranate. Yeah, pomegranates do pretty well here too, with the exception of sometimes that they freeze if we have a really tough winter. So this is a ongoing project that we're going to be finishing up this summer. Hey, Sylvester, you made it back. And this is covered because, well, we don't want rainwater getting on it because we still haven't fixed our hail-damaged roofs. But that's coming soon. We're going to have our roofs fixed this summer. But this is going to be our mural wall / collage of paintings from local artists. And you guys get a preview for it. We're going to have a big mural in the center where you can stand and take your picture amongst all of the art. So this is a group effort from a bunch of different local artists that did a really nice job on painting these beautiful frames. That one is gorgeous. I mean, there's a ton of really gorgeous ones on here. Someone is asking, do we know the redbud tree? Yes, we sell lots of redbud trees. Look at that shrimp plant. All right, so we're going to get in and start our staff meeting here in a couple minutes. So I'm going to wrap up this video and get to it. But I appreciate you guys joining this morning on a little walk through the greenhouse. Let's be glad that it's not 100 degrees yet and it's not bone dry. So I appreciate you joining me. Hope to see you here today or at the Parade of Homes. We went and I took my family and we saw 6 of the houses last weekend. And we have 2 more to see this weekend. So the Parade of Homes is super fun. You can get free tickets here at Smith's. And with your tickets, you get entered to win a Blackstone griddle. So at the end of the parade, when you go to your last house, you drop off your tickets, you fill out your information, and you can win a Blackstone griddle. I shouldn't have told you that because I want to win it. So the more of you that go, the less chance that I get to win it. Just kidding. We do carry the Hearts of Fire redbud trees. Oh, what is the Parade of Homes? Look up Wichita Falls Parade of Homes, and you will see. Because today and tomorrow are the last days for it. All right, thanks for joining this morning, and hope to see you soon.